Detoxing or following a detox protocol, it could be the exact thing that makes you feel worse or does more damage. And here's why it might not work for you. Hey there, I'm Bria, and welcome to the Period Whisperer podcast. If you're over 35 and ready for real answers about your hormones, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and stay with us. Hey there, sister. Welcome back to the Period Whisperer podcast. I have a question for you. How are you feeling in your body? It is June. Are you starting to feel things like, oh, I need to tighten things up? Are you thinking, I feel puffy, I feel off, I feel sluggish? Maybe I should do a detox. And if you are in my age box, which I know you are, you're probably opening up your social media occasionally. Maybe you have some good boundaries, maybe you don't. No judgment at all. But what I am noticing about this time of year in June is that I am seeing a lot of ads for things like cleanses and resets and flushes and detox. And what I have learned through being marketed to like this for so long, and then also as a practitioner, really looking at data, looking at labs, helping my clients feel their best and getting their bodies to detox on their own, is that when we come into this summer heat and we want to fit into our clothes again and we want to start to feel better, we start to think, oh, maybe I will do this detox, especially if you're someone like me who, when I was really struggling, I was up in the middle of the night scrolling my phone because I wasn't able to sleep. I wasn't feeling very well in my body. And that marketing just hits different at 2 a.m. You're desperate, right? Your cortisol's up. That's why you're awake. And you feel a little bit like, oh, I have to make a decision. Oh, I have to take an action. So we do things like start detoxes, and then we feel worse, and then we quit. And then we assume it's our fault, enter shame spiral here. Or we feel like it's hopeless. And then that gets really frustrating because I know when I feel hopeless, I don't want to do anything. So listen, if you are heading into summer thinking about doing a detox, if you're being heavily marketed to like I am right now, or maybe you already have purchased the thing, like several of my clients lately I've been talking to, well, I've been doing this detox thing as we go through their supplements. I'm going to say something that I think might really surprise you. Detoxing or following a detox protocol in terms of like a supplement grouping that you're going to take or a way of eating along with supplements, things like that. This could be the exact thing that makes you feel worse or does more damage. And it's not because detoxing is bad, but it's because your body might not be ready to handle what a detox actually does. So I really wanted to talk about this because I know, again, we're talking about quick fixes. We're talking about quick things here in June that you can implement, that you can get some results from. And I know this is something that is going to get shoved in our faces like a fire hose around now. In fact, maybe it already has been for you. Maybe you've done something in the past. Maybe you followed a detox protocol and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should go back to that thing. I did it in my 30s and I felt really great. Here's why it might not work for you. I never, ever, ever start my clients with detox protocols, especially in midlife, in perimenopause. Because if your body isn't supported, detoxing becomes a stress, not a healing strategy for the body. And I understand, right? Because we think, oh, I have these toxins and this is how we're marketed to. Oh my gosh, I have all these feelings and I must be a toxic soup inside, and well, let's just get this toxic soup out. But a detox is supposed to, of course, mobilize toxins in your body, like in your fat and in your tissue, right? That is making us feel like junk for sure. It's supposed to help them move through the liver pathways. And then it's supposed to be eliminated through your stool, through your urine, through your sweat. In theory, this is a beautiful system. Your body is actually designed to do this really on its own. Sometimes it can benefit from support. But here's what most detox plans assume across the board for all of us: that your body, my body, whoever they're marketing to, has the energy and capacity to do this well. And that's simply not what I'm seeing for women, especially in midlife. I want you to think of detox kind of like cleaning out your entire house. The toxins are like clutter, dust, boxes, right? And sometimes we get in this big tizzy and we want to clean everything all at once. A detox protocol is like pulling everything out of the entire house, not just your closet, not just one room at a time. It's like, okay, we're just going to pull all this stuff out, including the garage, including the basement, including the attic. Now imagine that you dump everything out of all these places, your closets, your drawers, your garage, all at once, right now, today, or this weekend, and then ask yourself, do you actually have the time, the energy, the systems to sort it out, carry it out, and clean it up? Or is it just going to sit around there and you're going to be mad that no one's helping you and you're going to be frustrated that it's all in your way trying to get it's going to slow you down trying to accomplish all the other things that you need to do? If you're like, "Yes, I can do my entire house all at once," great. That's wonderful for you. I'm willing to bet that's not the situation. If no, it's chaos, right? It's things that are now in your way, and it is dust that is now all through your house, potentially mold if we're digging into that attic sometimes. This is what happens in your body, and I think another way I really like to look at it is for our body, pulling out toxins is like going it's like asking your body to go to battle. So we need to know, okay, do my soldiers have what they need? Are they rested? Are they fed? Are they prepared? Do they have energy? Are they trained properly? Do they have the tools, the armor? Is everything sharp and ready to go? Are they ready for this battle? Or are they exhausted because they've been battling for a really long time already? And that's why we feel the way that we feel. I don't meet a lot of women. Now, of course, women who feel amazing don't typically come to me for support and aren't typically listening to this podcast. Most of the time, we're here because we don't feel very amazing. In perimenopause, most women are already running on lower reserves in their body. Your adrenals are taxed. Your sleep is disrupted. Your nervous system is on edge. Your immune system is stretched. So when you dump that house out with a detox, or when you call your little soldiers to go to battle to handle these toxins, your body can't keep up. And this is what I happen to see more often than not, and why when clients come to me and they've already started these detoxes, why I have done this in the past, we start to feel worse. And here's the tricky part, because here's how you know actually when your body isn't ready. Before you even do a detox, some of the signs that your body is not ready for a detox: wired and tired, afternoon crashes, right? You're just exhausted in that afternoon, poor sleep. We're waking up in the night, or we're never getting deep, or waking up a lot, or you're waking up in the morning and you just don't have that morning boost of cortisol to get you going. You're bloated, you have sluggish digestion, you're getting sick often, you're feeling inflamed and puffy. These are not signs you need a detox. These are signs your body needs support. And the tricky thing about that is, what is the marketing saying to us? Like, what are the marketers saying to us when they're selling these detox products? Are you wired but tired? Are you finding that you don't have energy properly throughout the day? Are you sleeping poorly? They promise these solutions to all of this, and yet these are the exact signs in midlife that your body is not ready for a detox. Because if you proceed and your body is not supported, your soldiers aren't ready, you're not ready to handle this whole clutter of the whole house coming out and dirty. You don't have the support, you don't have the helpers, it's just you out there, and you got to go to work on Monday, and you probably have other things you have to do on the weekend, like get groceries and make some nutrition plans or something, or go to sports games or graduations or whatever's going on in your life. You're going to start to have things like headaches, major skin breakouts, extreme fatigue. So now you're feeling worse than you were, anxiety or irritability, constipation. This is a big one if we are not prepared for detox. And that just feeling of fluishness, right? You just like, ugh, I feel like I'm getting sick. And sometimes we're even told that this is a normal die off feeling of detox. It is not. Here's what can be normal in when we are detoxing. It can be normal to have some mild symptoms, right? Slight fatigue, maybe your skin does get a little bit duller before it brightens up again, mild changes in your digestion, but nothing that's knocking you down. What's not normal is feeling like you've been hit by a truck, that your anxiety is spiking, that you are not pooping every single day, that your sleep suddenly gets worse, right? That's not detox working. That's actually your body struggling to handle, right? They're losing the battle. Your soldiers are in there. They're losing the battle against these toxins that were at least held somewhere for safekeeping for now. So they don't do like all the damage in the body. Now they're pulled into the body and the liver's like, what? And your adrenals are like, oh, I don't have time for this. Really want to think about your body. Each one of these parts of our metabolism has such an important role. And if they're not ready for this call to battle, then you are going to find yourself feeling worse. And then we get really stuck. And that obviously ticks down in like a domino effect into our sex hormones further. Remember, anytime there's a call to cortisol in our body, our digestion becomes limited, our fat burning becomes limited, our sex hormones become repressed, all of these things. So we can almost be pushed into an earlier perimenopause or feel like we are when this starts to happen. Why does this happen, right? Let's really break this down so you understand it. Number one, I would say, is adrenal dysfunction. So let's break down these kind of key areas, these three key areas that we need to be aware of before we do detox. So adrenal dysfunction, like first and foremost, whenever we're working on health in a body, we have to address nervous system regulation and adrenals first. If your cortisol is dysregulated, you're going to have low resilience. That's like if you cannot fall asleep easily at night, if you're waking up in the night, if you're not waking up with energy, if you're having funky hunger cues, no hunger cues, you're hungry all the day, you have major energy drops, your food doesn't make you feel satisfied. This is all clear signs of adrenal dysfunction. So whether you have too much cortisol, not enough cortisol, whether you're having cortisol when you shouldn't have cortisol, that's all part of this adrenal dysfunction lens, we would call it. So when this happens, your body perceives detox as a stress, right? It's like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, the cages have been opened, the bad guys are running around, and we have to fight to survive. It kicks us into this fight or flight mode. So your body will always choose survival over detox. If it can't recruit the support of the immune system, if the liver can't handle this detox at this time, it's going to work extra hard. Your adrenals are going to work extra hard to kind of shove these bad guys back into their cages, back into your fat and your tissue for safekeeping, which now drains you further, and it's going to take it some time. Number two, we always have to consider immune function in the gut. This is so important. Even before we do, antimicrobials like berberine or like oregano oil, some really, natural things that can kill bad bacteria in our gut, we have to look to a marker called your SIG-A, your gut's first line of defense. I think of SIG-A like the bouncer to the club of your immune system. If things are getting past your mucosal barrier in your gut and starting to get into that bloodstream, your SIG-A should be there to say you can come in and you cannot come into the bloodstream. But if your SIG-A is low, your immune defender, your immune bouncer is tired because it's been working overdrive, then everything just starts getting into the bloodstream, which becomes really problematic. So if this is low, your body doesn't have the protection to handle what's actually being stirred up inside. And number three, the third, I think, pathway that we always want to consider before we do a detox is just all of our elimination pathways. So if you are dealing with any type of constipation, any type of sluggish liver, if you have low minerals going on in your body, and the thing is, it's hard for us to know these things. We can know if we're constipated, right? If you're not having a nice, full pooping evacuation every single day, yes, every single day, you are constipated. And by the way, it needs to be unassisted by caffeine. So we should be able to wake up in the morning And probably within the first hour to an hour and a half, without caffeine, we should be able to have a poop. And if that's not happening, we're dealing with constipation. So we can tell on that one. But with sluggish liver, with low minerals, it's hard to know unless we're testing. But those pieces, how the liver is doing, how our gut is doing, how we're doing with the amount of minerals we have in our body, they matter because they're a huge part of what gets toxins out. So if they are struggling and they are low, and I will tell you, after, I've had two wonderful interviews here on the Period Whisperer podcast with Caroline Allen, the creator of Beam Minerals, which I'm going to shamelessly plug because I love them. I love how they support my clients. I take them every day. They We know that today we have to eat 6 pieces of fruit basically to equal the 1 piece of fruit that had all the minerals that we needed in our grandparents' days. So 6 to 1 from the last 2 generations. So if we can't get these toxins out because we don't have enough minerals, they get recirculated. And I want that to land hard for you because the last thing we want is to make things worse, because it is super normal for us to think, oh, I am probably full of toxins. I need to get these toxins out, but there has to be an order to healing. So here's what I want you to do instead, because I don't want you heading into this summer, putting in effort, spending money on something that now is going to make you feel worse. Before we ever detox, we prepare the body. So I have 3 steps for you today that you can focus on first before you fall prey to that marketing around buying this detox, because it's everything you need to feel better is what I feel like. When I'm hearing these ads, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, oh, this is going to fix it for me. Maybe this will be the thing. Just spend the $150 or the $40 or the 200, who knows, however much it is, right? They range so much. So number one, first and foremost, we need to focus on regulating that nervous system and your adrenals. Well, how do we do that? Through sleep timing, right? Really consistent bedtime and wake time routines and like a wind down routine. We're always going to reduce overtraining. Remember, when we're detoxing or when the body is trying to have what it needs to feel supported, training it, like even lifting weights, which we know is what we should be doing and we want to be doing, can cost the body more energy than it has. So we want to reduce that overtraining first. Focus on things like walking, things like swimming gently, things like dancing if it's fun for you, yoga, of course, mobility and stability work. We want to prepare and support the body instead of demanding of the body. And when it comes to regulating our adrenals and our nervous system, sometimes we have to take a step back from training in order to do that. We talked a lot about that on last week's solo episode. And minerals daily. Minerals. So here's where I will tell you, if you do not have Beam Minerals already, if you don't have minerals that you're drinking daily, please check out Beam Minerals. They're the most absorbable, most full spectrum, easiest to take, tastes like water. Even my kids will drink them. Minerals that you can get. They offer all of the show listeners 20% off with the discount code BRIA. It's beamminerals.com, BEAM.com. Go check them out for sure if you aren't already supporting yourself with minerals. So step 1 is we want to regulate that nervous system by getting to bed at an appropriate time, waking up at an appropriate time, even if what's in between is not perfect. We want to reduce overtraining. We want to be consistent with our meals, treat that body like a baby again, put it on a schedule. This is going to help us bring calm to the body, and a calm body detoxes all on its own much better than a stressed one. Always, always, always. Okay, step number 2 for you. We want to support your immune system and your gut. We want to build up that gut lining. So this is where things like colostrum or bone broth can really make a difference for us here. We want to look at those markers and we want to support our digestion. So if you've been dealing with digestive issues, although I am always a fan of testing and not guessing, it can be very helpful to test out some digestive enzymes, it can be, or some digestive bitters or something, just lighten the load. Likewise, when we pull back on our training, we don't need as much food. So maybe we can pull back a little and work on our digestion first and foremost. We don't go to war in the gut if the army is depleted. Please remember that. So focus on supporting your digestion, your immune function in your gut. And we do that through resting. We do that through, limiting the amount of food sometimes that we are eating. So then we have to limit our energy spend in order to do that. We use things like digestive enzymes. And as I said, bone broth can be really, really supportive here. Okay, number three, I'm going to say this to you because I feel so strongly that we are so amazing at saving money to invest in our future for our future financial, right? Our financial future. We are so good at investing even in our education to become better at the career path that we are on. We need to start putting aside and investing in our own body, in our own health. And that is where I think step three, identify, we're going to call it test, don't guess, right? I'm always going to recommend running bare minimum 2 labs. One is your dried urine test for comprehensive hormones. This is something I run for all of my private clients. We're going to look at your cortisol there. We're going to look at your adrenal hormones, the full picture, and your sex hormones and their patterns. What are they telling us? Are they ready for a detox or do they need help? Are they part of the reason we're not detoxing properly? And the other one is a GI map. It's a stool test that comes to your house. This is actually going to help us look at your gut immune system, what that SIG-A is telling us, and your whole gut environment. So not only is it telling us what's the state, but it's helping us really understand the why. Why might I need to detox in the first place? Why might I be in a situation where I'm not detoxing properly on my own? Identifying and testing is where detoxification becomes strategy instead of risk, right? So if we want to be smart and strategic about our health and not just willy-nilly spending money on things and hoping and spraying and praying that it works for us, this is where it comes down to testing. So I'll recap those steps for you, right? Before you go buying a detox protocol, before you dive in and think that's for you, we need to regulate that nervous system and adrenals. We need to support your gut, your immune system, and your digestion specifically. And then we need to identify what's the root cause. We always want to answer that question of why. Why is my body in the position that it's in? Why am I having that symptom right now? And why might I need a detox? Or do I even need a detox? This is going to help us get the best results, right? When we get down into the why and the root cause, that's when we're able to not only get the best results and optimize the body, but keep it there long term. If you're feeling like junk right now and you're ready to do the work, you don't want to have to do the work 16 times. We just want to do the work once and then stay on top of it. Okay, remember, detox is not something you do to your body. It's something your body does when it feels safe and supported, often all on its own. When we give it the tools, when we prepare the soldiers on their own, when the body is ready, it will start to do that quite gently and naturally on its own. And if we need some support in a detox, maybe we will use that, but always in the order of supporting the body first before we push it into battle. So now you know. You know so much more about detox. If you're heading off into summer, if you're heading into these months and you're already kind of feeling off, and your instinct is to push harder, to clean harder, to detox harder, to buy the thing online, I want you to pause in the night and remember this. In the night when you're scrolling, or late at night, or in the middle of the night when you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do something because I feel horrible, which is what we do. And I do it, I have done it. So there's no shame in it. It's a natural thing. I want you to pause, because the women who feel the best in their bodies this summer aren't the ones doing the most things. They're the ones supporting their body the smartest way possible, especially through this transition in midlife. Sister, if you are not sure whether your body is ready for a detox, but you are sure that you need to make changes, you need to feel differently, or maybe if you've tried things that have already made you feel worse, let's look at your data. Let's do that together. Book a call, swipe up, click the link in the show notes, book a call with me, and we will map out exactly what your body actually needs. I offer free calls for this reason, to help you know what is the next best step for me to take before I go spending money on anything else. That's what we do here. All right, you have so many great tools, and it is not to go out and push a detox. So take a minute, start these steps, book a call if that's your next best step. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Go out, be more in your life and not just less on a scale. We'll catch you next time.
If you're 35 plus and ready to stop guessing, start understanding your hormones, and feel your absolute best, hit subscribe. That's what we do here.